Good day, everyone. A few years ago, many years ago, my history professor told us about the Maginot Line. And now we had the opportunity of visiting one of the bunkers, the one in Schoenenbourg in Alsace. So what is this Maginot Line? It is represented as the red lines on eastern France. The name comes from Mr. André Maginot, who was the French war minister at the time. And he figured that France needed to protect themselves against a possible German invasion after World War I. The strange thing is that they left weak fortifications, the dotted lines, next to southern Belgium, thinking that the Germans would never go through the Ardennes region, with its rolling valleys and rivers, extensive caves and dense forests. They were mighty wrong. This is precisely where the Germans invaded France in the Second War. The Maginot Line is not some sort of a wall, but it is a series of concrete fortifications, bunkers, shelters, obstacles, and weapon installations. And it was built in the 1930s. This is the site we're going to visit. From outside, the ammunition entrance at Schoenenbourg Ford, or Block 7, where visitors come in actually, with connection to railways and shooting points for machine guns and artillery. In the fort, underground, the crew consisted of 630 men at most, including soldiers and officers. Cross-section of Block 7, visitors walk down the stairs. Let us start looking at living quarters. The first impression when you go in, some 40 meters underground, are those long corridors fitted with narrow gauge rail tracks going on forever. Temperature here is very stable at 12 degrees Celsius or year round. Finally, we get to a very important place, the canteen, with the menu of the day. Looks yummy, I must say. This is where I would collect my tray, the kitchen, all cookers are electrical appliances. Food storage room, seasoning pots, and of course wine. Hey, this is France after all. There's no good meal without a nice wine. Washing up area. Sleeping quarters. Interesting that only 200 could sleep at a time out of 630 men. They slept and worked in shift. After some time, they lost the notion of day and night. Washing area, even with a mirror. Wearing a mask. Showers, at 12 degrees C, air temperature, I bet they didn't shower regularly. And if you don't mind, I will skip the toilets. An officer private room with minimalistic furniture. Medical care, supplies, beds for the sick and wounded, surgery area, and there's even a morgue in here to keep the corpses safe till they could be buried properly. We move now to the operations side. Again, more corridors. A few kilometers of them. They use there some small engines to carry soldiers and ammunition around, food and wine as well, of course. Here the central telephone connectors. Cabling was installed on these shelves along the corridors, great for inspection and maintenance, not so great in terms of safety. Some views of soldiers dealing with ammunition, loading crates, some of the artillery shells, the twin machine guns 7.5 mm range up to 1200 meters, 650 rounds a minute, which were posted at ground level. Some of the 75 mm guns, with my thumb to give you some scale. These guns were mounted onto telescopic towers or tourelles and fitted under such steel bells as shown here. The complete system is maneuvered with a set of counterweights to get it out and retract. Then the tower could rotate to fire. This is one of the towers, showing where the operator would sit and looking down towards the counterweights. The dial indicating the angle and the arc for firing. The command room recording and reporting what the observation points detect on the field through periscope. One of the Sulzer power generators, 160 kVA, 440 volts, used during emergency or attacks since power was normally supplied from the main grid in the neighboring village. Air is normally sucked from the surface, keeping the whole system slightly overpressured. In case the enemy throws the toxic gases, this air is filtered with these carbon filters. Waste air and fumes from gun firing is expelled back to the surface. And of course, with all the equipment and systems running, one needs a maintenance repair shop. In case of major problems, there is an emergency exit. Let's go check. And it is blocked. They even removed the ladders. Finally, the guys needed some distraction and cheering up. I censored some of the material. Children may be watching after all. These are copies. Here's one of the originals. I hope you enjoyed this little part of history, and till next time, bye for now.